I'm a 33-year-old woman, and I've always lived what most would call a quiet life. I work full-time as a bookkeeper for a local business. I rent a small apartment above a bakery. I clip coupons, meal prep, and shop secondhand. My car is over a decade old, but it runs fine. I'm not flashy, but I've always been careful with money, with choices, with people. My sister Vanessa is the exact opposite. She's 36, married with 2 kids, and lives like a socialite, even though no one really knows how she affords it. Designer handbags, luxury cars, private schools, spa weekends, first-class flights. If it screams wealth, it's part of her daily life. At every family gathering, she makes sure everyone knows how much her dress costs or which celebrity endorsed her new perfume. One time at dinner, she passed around her purse just to show off the label. It wasn't subtle. It never is. She doesn't just flaunt money, she uses it like a weapon. I remember when I baked cupcakes for her son's 5th birthday. I stayed up late, decorated them with little dinosaurs, and brought them over carefully packed. She looked at them, wrinkled her nose, and asked, "Why didn't you just hire a professional?" Everyone laughed like it was just Vanessa being Vanessa, but she meant it. Another time, she told me she was sending a stylist my way as a gift, then laughed and said she was joking, unless you're actually desperate. My parents just smiled awkwardly. They never called her out. They didn't approve of her behavior, but they also didn't push back. That became the norm. Her husband Richard is no different. Loud, overconfident, always making big claims. He once cornered my boyfriend at a family BBQ to brag about a 6-figure business deal that turned out to be an Amazon FBA venture that didn't even last 6 months. He leases luxury cars, posts motivational quotes online, and makes it sound like he's always one step away from hitting it big. But the second anyone asks him to co-pay for anything, dinners, trips, even gifts for our parents, he has an excuse ready. Card issues, pending payments, long-term investments. Never once does he follow through. Over time, I started noticing patterns. Sudden renovations on their house, with no clear income source. Vacations that seemed longer and more expensive than what either of them could realistically afford. At one point, Vanessa mentioned buying into some overseas boutique hotel. A few months later, she said the deal fell through, but the way she dodged my questions stuck with me. Being a bookkeeper, I can't turn off that part of my brain. I'm trained to see inconsistencies, to track details. Vanessa's lifestyle had all the signs of someone living on credit and appearances. Big spending, vague income, zero transparency. Still, I kept quiet. For years, I let her make her little jabs. I nodded politely when she offered me hand-me-down bags like she was doing me a favor. I let it go when she asked if I'd ever thought about fixing my look. I knew what she thought of me: boring, basic, broke. It was easier to let her believe it than start something. Then our aunt passed away. She didn't have kids and had been close to both of us growing up. She left behind a sizable inheritance, split evenly. I used mine to buy a small 2-bedroom house just outside the city. Nothing fancy, just clean, solid, and paid in full. I moved in, planted some flowers, fixed the mailbox, and felt proud. For the first time, I had something that was fully mine. A few weeks later, we had a family cookout. I invited everyone over. Vanessa came in wearing white heels on a freshly mowed lawn, looked around for 2 seconds, and said, "It's cute, like one of those model homes from a dollhouse set." Then she laughed and walked off. No one reacted. No one ever does. But something about that moment shifted things for me. Not emotionally, I wasn't hurt. I was curious. Because for someone who lived so big, she'd been acting weirder lately. Her Instagram, usually flooded with beach views and wine glasses, had gone quiet. Richard didn't bring one of his usual props, no flashy car, no designer watch. Vanessa's outfit looked